Did you know that in the first ever Crash Bandicoot game, the main character, Crash Bandicoot, is canonically dead throughout the entirety of the main story? Now I know this may sound like an outlandish claim, but I have proof, so hear me out. In the very first cutscene of the game, we see Crash fall from an enormous height. Even if he were to hit the water below, there is no way that anything could survive such a fall. Thus, the events that transpire throughout the rest of the game are, in fact, a hallucination that Crash experiences in the final moments before passing on. The bosses that he must face throughout his journey each represent one of the 5 stages of grief, manifested as foes that Crash must overcome in his tiny marsupial brain. Papu Papu represents the first stage, denial, as his big jiggly belly denies you from getting close to him. Ripperoo represents anger, as he is a crazed individual, or perhaps a madman, mad, synonymous for angry. Koala Kong represents bargaining, as he throws stones at Crash, only for him to throw them back to deal damage. They trade, or perhaps exchange, blows, if you will. And what do you do when you exchange things? You bargain. Pinstripe represents depression. This life of crime has taken much from him. Ever since a rival gang gunned down his son in cold blood, he has felt hollow inside. Even after getting his revenge, he feels no joy in life. Nothing can bring back his boy. And thus when Crash comes to stop him, he is so broken inside that all he can do is laugh. An empty, hollow laugh. Dr. Embryo represents acceptance, as once the fight looks unwinnable for him, he accepts his destiny to become the ultimate Alpha Chad demigod, unleashing his Herculean gains upon an unsuspecting Bandicoot. Though, in doing so, he also accepts that he will now spend the remainder of his days drowning in a sea of endless, thirsty women. But what of the endings, I hear you asking? In the 100% completion ending, Crash finds himself crossing a glistening path of gemstones, where, upon reaching his end, he rides off to the kingdom of heaven to stand at the side of our Lord. And lastly, if Crash does not find Christ by gathering all gems, he must face Dr. Cortex. Dr. Cortex is the devil himself, the burning castle behind him being the fiery land of hell. However, Crash soundly defeats Lucifer and upon doing so, takes his rightful place as the new dark god of the underworld. But all that's just a theory. Again!